Good evening. My name is Terrence Hoy. Welcome to the Board of Fire Commissioners, Newcastle Fire District Number 1, regular meeting. Today's Thursday, June 16th, 2022. It's approximately 7 p.m. and we're located 491 King Street in Chapaqua, New York. The following commissioners are, I'm going to call the meeting to order right now. I will lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please, everyone stand. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence for your own intentions. Thank you. So I'll just go over attendance for this evening. First of all, one of our commissioners, Commissioner Ed Frank, is on an authorized absence tonight. So we have 4 board members here. In addition to that, our treasurer, Robin Rizzo, is on an authorized absence this evening. So I'll just ask the secretary, if you would, Christine, to present what she submitted to us for consideration tonight. Thank you. Having said that, at this time, please note the time, we're going to enter into executive,
I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss a particular contract.
Do we have a second?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. What time did we come out of executive?
7:07.
7:07. Thank you. Having said that, quick statement regarding public comments. We have no one here this evening. However, if someone does show up and they have public comment, we'll reserve that or put that portion towards the end of the meeting. Correspondence, we only had one. Chris will brief us on, Commissioner Weddle will brief us on that later. It was a letter from Zurich regarding a minor incident. Chief's...
Not the city, the insurance company.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. Not the city of Zurich, but the insurance company. Thank you very much. The chief is taking care of some fire department business. He will join us shortly. And once the chief does join us, what we'll do is we'll suspend whatever we're talking about and allow the chief to jump in. We don't want to keep him away from his duties at all. Having said that, treasurer's report.
In the treasurer's absence, I will report for her the check detail from May 20th through June 16th, 2022 is a total of $145,051.65. She also provided a profit and loss budget versus actual, which will be in the record.
And we'll just notice that we usually, I think our monthly is about 100,000. This month it's a little higher because of the purchase of the Tahoe, the new Chief's Tahoe. So I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept it.
Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Christine. Secretary's report.
I don't have much to report, just that my laptop is fixed, and I'm hoping that it is a permanent fix.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go through this in another couple of weeks. And I have a set of minutes for you. That's it.
You received the minutes in advance, I make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second on? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Very good, thank you for that, Madam Secretary. What's up next? Committee reports. I have nothing on,
Approve the minutes.
oh, excuse me.
We just did
We
that.
just did that.
Okay.
We did. Purchasing, I'll talk about something later. Nothing on uniform or turnout gear, nothing on medical or physicals. And with respect to projects, we'll talk about that upcoming. And nothing from the CLC for now. And we greatly appreciate the hard work of the CLC, and we look forward to circling back with them here in the near future. Certainly in the coming month, I suspect. I'm going to brief out for Commissioner Frank, who's on authorized absence tonight. Nothing on technology other than the fact that we're working on the problematic laptop that the secretary has. This is a big issue. It is causing some, let's just say, stress. So we hope we've rectified that. In addition to technology, we'll talk about a computer tablet for the chief's vehicle later. Engineering, buildings, and projects. So Ed Frank sent us a quick update regarding, and I won't get into all the details. In the next, a couple of weeks ago, Ed met with the masonry contractor. It's been approved to do the pointing around the building. The project has a tentative start date to be the first week of July. JMC, our engineer and site planner, has submitted a subdivision plat that was revised on, it looks like the 2nd of June of this year, which addresses the town of Newcastle's comments, and the town is in the process of conducting its final review of the site plan for the proposed, well, it's not proposed project, the project that we may very well propose in the future. Lynn Weinig is also addressing some legal and technical issues regarding easements. And then Ed is also reporting that the New York State Department of Transportation is evaluating sidewalks in the area. There'll be much more on that issue to come once the project is approved and we move forward on that. And again, Lynn Weinig is on that as well with respect to any legal issues. So thank you to Ed for sending that in prior. Did anyone have any questions on that? Oh, and one thing I should add, our neighbor on Oak Lane still has not moved their dumpsters. I know that we have communicated with them, and I believe it was Lynn Weinig who sent an email, and we hope that our neighbor can comply with our very simple request to remove said containers off the district's property. So we're done with that, and the chief has just arrived. Chief,
Your evening is now complete.
yes, we're going to jump right into the chief's report now. Take your time, chief. The floor is yours when you are ready.
Bueno. Alrighty. New business. I had sent a request regarding those 3 thermal imaging cameras for the chiefs. I just wanted to check on the status of sending the purchase order to MES. You had endorsed it and said to move forward with it, Commissioner?
Yeah, I believe there was, I believe I'm not the only one who opined on that. But I don't see a problem with that. In fact, that's a piece of operational gear. If you want, we'll cut the PO and we'll, you want to brief us on the approximate cost, please? It was 3 cameras, it was less than $1,500?
It was right around $1,500, I believe. And
For
it's-
3 separate cameras?
And it was designed to be they're called personal ticks, thermal imaging camera, really for the 3 chiefs to have as the first ones on the scene while we're waiting for apparatus. We can kind of use that, look for hot spots, if, you know, an outlet, very simple things like that. It's not going to put out a fire or diagnose anything major, but it'll help us get a leg up. You know, if we are there first on scene and we see something behind the wall, we may want to call for additional resources.
So what's the board's pleasure on that?
Make a motion, we go with the chief's recommendation.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
3 cameras. That was easy.
So we have the portable hearse that was purchased for the new utility. We've put it into service on current utility 155, since we're not really sure when the other utility will, you know, that'll transpire. Yes, sir.
Does that duplicate the hearse on the rescue?
Correct.
Same kind, same
Yeah,
batteries,
yeah.
interchangeable?
Exactly, and that actually brings me to where I wanted to go. We, utility 155 has a tool and has a spare battery, but but it does not have a charger for the spare battery installed. We have a charger in the radio room. I'd like to see about getting that installed in utility 155 so we can keep a battery charged and ready to go as needed
This is for the Hearst or a radio?
for the Hearst.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we follow the chief's recommendation, get a charger for the battery.
Well, we do have the charger, I just need the installation, and I need your help where to go to have it installed, whether that's a Stefan, whether that's the radio company,
It's
or Metrocon,
it's
or
probably Stefan.
Ruscon,
We can see what Stefan wants to do.
or if Ruscon's coming for anything in the not so distant future,
I don't know.
we could add it to the list of
chargers
stuff.
are on back order till about August, so
Okay.
they're not coming anytime soon.
Definitely do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move forward with that.
Okay.
If Stefan can squeeze that in.
We'll give it a shot, okay? Old business, just wanted to check, last month, you had expressed some concerns about the membership documents with regards to a dual signature for members that were under 18, as well as clarity in the document that we use for the OFPC for the background check, that the current document references Fidelifax.
Yes.
But we're not using them, we strictly use the Office of Fire Prevention and Control. And you were gonna speak with the attorney about updating the documentation?
Yes, I will have, I'm gonna get with Commissioner Weddle on that as well. We will, by next month, we'll have a new form for you.
Because we've had a flurry of new members. You've got 2 that I'm presenting to you tonight. We've got 3 more in the pipeline with various companies for their interviews and waiting on the OFPC check, so
That fell off the agenda, I'm gonna take the gig on that one. I will have it next month, sorry about that, Chief.
not to worry, we will not throw carrots at you. Brings us to membership. There's 2 new members to the Independent Fire Company, Sergio Amaral and Brian Meenan Bloom. They've been interviewed by both companies. Mr. Bloom, Meenan Bloom, is actually also a member of CVAC, and he's gotten to be very well known by firefighters Buchanan and Chief Bologna. And Sergio Amaral lives up the street, came in one day, and he's very interested in joining, and we'd like your blessing to continue through the process with him.
I make a motion, we continue.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Do we need to get those applications to the secretary then?
She has copies.
Thank you very much.
Chief is very efficient.
We should be careful with those, because they do have dates of birth and social security.
Yes.
Yeah, and are they both adults?
Yes.
They are.
Thank you.
Under expenses, we had to purchase from Amazon some rechargeable AA batteries for the light tower for Rescue 23. Inspection, those were for the floral bouquets as well as the Memorial Day wreath. Training, we've got a member up at the New York State Convention, and traditionally we've covered that as part of training because they do take courses while they're there. And also membership in the NFPA and the International Association of Fire Chiefs. And as I believe I spoke with you off cycle, I did reiterate that all those are supposed to come through the district and not be reimbursed by the chief, but they had already been expensed, so I needed to cover them.
Make a motion, we reimburse the chief for the bills.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May, we had 51 alarms, that's attached, and it's on actually the back of the chief's report. We tried double-sided tonight, which hence the delay in coming downstairs.
Is that number up or down? It's usually floating around 42, 45.
For May, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
we're pretty much within 2 or 3 alarms of our normal run rate. Future dates, Mount Kisco Fire Department Parade, July 8th, it's a Friday night. Also too, on parades real quickly, we very proudly took Best Rescue in the Pleasantville Parade, which is it's a nice accomplishment because it was actually due to the work of the membership cleaning and getting it ready as opposed to a thanks for coming type trophy. So it definitely was, adds to the membership's hard work for inspection.
Congratulations.
And that's everything that I have.
Excellent. I'll entertain a motion to accept the
I
chief's
make a
report.
motion to accept the chief's report.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chief. You're welcome to stay. I know you got drilled
Yep.
tonight.
No, they're already, what we've done to
Wait,
ensure
well-
that you have representation from the department for the
Excellent.
duration of the meetings,
Oh, sure.
we're splitting duties, and I'll stay for the meeting, and Chief
Perfect.
Bologna runs the drill.
Excellent.
And if I may,
who?
Bologna.
Oh.
This is just a copy of the form that we submit to OFPC for the background
Oh,
check.
yeah.
If you need that for your work with the attorney.
I can borrow the applications from 2 other firehouses.
Well, no,
So
I'd
you
rather,
can
I'd rather,
compare?
I'd rather not do that. What we'll do is, I mean, unless, first I want to talk to Chris about it, because Chris brought up the point last month, and it's a very, very valid point. So, we need to address like 2 things. You know, authorization to do a background check, but also, when we're talking about a member who is under the age of 18, we want to address that. So if we could, by next month, I can assure that we can have this done. But I'd rather use our attorney or use the fire district guy. There may be one in there. Unless there's any objection. All right, we're back to committee. Commissioner Murphy.
All right. The lots are gonna get sealed. They're gonna call me when they schedule it. The lights on the
Pardon?
tree, the lights on the tree.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's on me, I keep forgetting.
Arco cleaning will start July 1st. APA will be here in July. And Center Street painting, I got 3 prices. Like I said, and
Is Tim's one of them? Where's he coming?
he was 9,600. Robert Decker, 11,300. And Elio Moschetta, he's 10,500.
I'd say go with Tim, as we know his work, he knows us.
Want to make a motion out of that?
Make a motion, we accept the bill from Bruce Timms.
Do we have a second? All in favor? All right.
And then Terry and I and Christine has discussed a drop box to put outside the door. For when we have bids, instead of having to meet the person, they got a drop box, they can just drop it in the box. So, that's at $330 per box.
You want to turn that into a motion?
You want to just put a hole in the door with a mail slot? Now we got a box, we gotta secure the box, we're gonna bolt it to the sidewalk?
Yeah, but I mean, it's nothing, we get a platform, bolted to the platform. It's just like down at the post office, they had that little platform. And you gotta, who's gonna pick it up and walk away with it with that, I mean. Because the other ones are mounted on the wall, so I don't want those. And that's it.
You want to turn that into a motion since we're here talking about it?
Make a motion, we get a drop box for $330.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
That was a quick turnaround. I'm going to add something, Brian.
Yeah.
We had a little snafu with technology that prevented us from getting the bid out for the asphalt work at Center Street. So that's going to take us an additional week.
So they will be due June 29th instead of 22nd.
Yeah, and that work includes removal of all the cracked concrete and then compacting with item 4, and then hot steamrolling, if you will, the asphalt and improving that area. It's a little hazardous right now. Anything else?
No.
Brian? Thank
I'm
you.
sorry if I could real
Yes.
quick, so while we're on House and also
Sure.
with Center Street, due to the condition of Center Street, we've got TOAC scheduled for a week from tonight. So we're gonna be bringing the props up from Center Street, and there will be temporary marks in the parking lot. If they do come to do paving, I'll adjust things
That's out for a
accordingly,
while.
but
They're not coming right
Okay, and again, I'm not gonna put gigantic X's, this is where the cone goes, we'll be subtle.
And I'll let you know, because I gotta get those cars moved over on Elm Street.
The ones that are parked there, or the,
The ones that we cut up. They'll have to come out.
With the seal,
Yeah, because they're gonna seal that lot.
how are we gonna do that? Gonna flatbed?
I mean, we'd have to get a tow company and they'd have to move them and then put them back.
Either that.
Do we
Does it
really
have
need to?
batteries in them?
What's that?
Do they have a battery in them?
I have no idea. But I mean, in theory, they've been drained of their fluids so that we don't blow up when we're cutting them up.
And they're not registered.
Do we-
Why don't we just put that off until,
But do we even need to
Yeah,
pay
but
that lot?
Yeah, it's all cracked and everything, so.
can we take that on the side and figure it out on the side?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be an expense involved of a tow
Yeah.
truck towing 4
There
or
would
5 vehicles and then putting them back.
Well, we could do it in shifts. You could do the whole parking lot except for where they're parked, and when it dries, just hook up a tow line to them, drag them across the lot, and then push it back.
Right, but I think to that point, then we'll take it offside, who's gonna do that? You know, I don't
Well,
wanna use any of our apparatus to
Well,
do
No,
something.
Brian has a truck.
They're not coming for a while, so you get time to cut them up.
Well, we just did a drill last week where we cut up 2, so I'm not scheduled to do it for another month at least. So, all right, we'll work it out.
Yeah, we can figure that one out. It's just a couple different missions kind of mash in there, so we'll figure it out. Anything else? All right. Dwight?
Okay, on finance, I reviewed the profit and loss budget versus actual, all looked good to me, and I reviewed the check detail report, it also looked fine. On trucks, the new Tahoe's in, the dealer's been paid, and the second set of keys will be in the mail shortly, I'm sure. I just haven't talked to him this week about it.
Okay, only 2 sets? I mean,
He's only gotten us 1. If you need more, we're gonna have to talk about that, because I think he's
Right.
only gonna give us 1 more.
all right, because normally on state bid, I mean, I've got a drawer full of at least 10 sets of remotes and keys for every chief's vehicle we have. So I'm not sure where that kind of fell through, but we definitely should keep a few extra sets in case they get locked in the car at a scene or whatever the case might be, particularly with that one being the key in the pocket
Yeah.
with no ignition. I think we want to make sure we've got a few extra
All right,
programs.
we'll have to work on that, just.
'Cause they're
you know how
expensive to
many-
program, they're
I know.
$600-700.
Those,
That wasn't in the
some of
bid.
those fobs that are in the drawer are
Mhm.
probably to Pete's car. It's being
No,
kept
no,
out.
I threw out, I tested them all when I first took over the desk, and they're all current vehicles we have.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, maybe we can talk about how many you need, let me know, and I'll get with him and see what we can do. And maybe we can find them elsewhere too, I don't know.
We can go to any General
Yeah.
Motors dealer,
Right.
but you'd have to re-key the entire car, so if we want to get 4, we're not just ordering 2 extra because they need to reprogram the entire vehicle, so you would end up getting 4 brand new keys, so that's an expense we'd have to
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah, okay, all right. On Monday, I'm gonna be bringing the DMV paperwork down to the DMV, and I'll try and get a license plate on Monday for that. It's insured, but it doesn't have any equipment in it right now, so once we get the plate, we can, I guess you could use it if you needed it, but I don't think
No.
there's any need to, right?
Not until it's fully
Yeah.
operational,
Yeah.
striped radios, emergency lights, it stays put.
It's currently locked up in the Center Street garage, and the key's up in the chief's locker or chief's room. The van we sold is still on the books, because I'm not making a lot of progress with the DMV. I was on their interactive website trying to get a replacement form that they are not being very helpful. They say they need a birth date, and I keep telling them it's a fire department. So I'm gonna go down there when I bring the DMV paperwork for the new chief's vehicle. I'm gonna bring the paperwork for the van and see if I can talk to a supervisor and get this squared away. I gave permission to ex-chief Maitland to use 2064 to go to the New York State Chiefs Convention and Fire Expo in Syracuse. And for communications, we have 6 new portable radios. They've been received and programmed. We're now just waiting on the single pocket chargers for 144, right? And they have to be installed there, of course. And the protective carry cases and the straps for the cases. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Commissioner Little?
Yeah, we should talk to Ed and make sure that the masonry company that's doing the work provides us with a certificate in liability insurance and adds us as an additional insured. Second of all, with respect to the communication from Zurich Insurance involving the contact between a district vehicle and a town vehicle, I spoke to our insurance broker, who pointed out that we've had a couple of claims over the past 5 years, and if we put in another one, the claims for about $2,700, that she thinks there's a chance, I think probably a fairly good chance, our policy premiums will go up. She kicked it back to me, she wasn't gonna call it, so, I mean, if our premiums go up even, you know, $100 over the next 5 years, it's gonna add up to more than our $2,700 liability. My suggestion would be we just write a check and reimburse the town for the damage.
I agree.
I agree.
We don't need a motion on that, do we?
I think so. So we will ask Robin to write that check.
Yes.
On finance, I don't have anything.
All right. Compliance policy review, I have nothing. Town liaison, I don't have anything. Legal and contract review, Chris, we'll just get with you this, maybe next week, regarding that form that we need to do for minor members. And then also a separate form acknowledging that a background check will be conducted by the state of New York. And then you'll have those. I apologize for that, Chief, that's my gig. Nothing there. Policy review, we're going to talk about policy coming up. Old business, let's jump right into it. Madam Secretary, any complaints with respect to the public address system and or the siren?
Nope.
Excellent. I did hear it vibrating. Yeah, so. Policy review, we'll come up to that in a second. Website discussion, we will talk about that at a later date. However, I could use the Secretary's assistant transferring some content to the appropriate place, not creating content, just transferring. And I also think that we're going to probably need Manny's help in verifying that every bit of relevant content, required content, is stripped away from our current site to the new site. We had the masonry project status update. Oak Lane, we do know that an email went out, I mentioned that earlier. Chief's truck update, we just got that, thank you. We're flying through this right now. Center Street painting and apron, we briefed out on that already. New business, I would like to, actually, let me come back to that. I'll come back to A. Last month, the board voted in favor, I believe it was 3 for, 1 abstention, and 1 against, to establish a policy.
I think it was actually 3 for, 2 against.
And there's 2 against.
Oh, was it 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Commissioners Well and Smith both voted against.
My mistake. Forgive me for that, please. So with that, we drew up a very simple policy, and it reads as such. Take notice that personal pets are not allowed in any Newcastle Fire District No. 1 vehicle or facility, effective immediately by the order of the Board of Fire Commissioners. It's simple. There's no ambiguity to it.
Could I ask a question or two about that?
Not, just give us a second.
I have a problem.
Yes.
I think you need to include a sentence in here that this policy takes precedence over Part 2, Section 2, Sub 1 of the rules and regulations, and that no firefighter will be disciplined, reprimanded, or otherwise suffer any negative consequences for failure to follow the rules and regulations by adhering to this policy. I think you also need to make that clear in Article 4, Section 1, Subdivision 5, so the chiefs know that this policy takes precedence over all the rules and regulations. Otherwise, they conflict with each other, and I think it should be clear to both the members and the chief that the rules and regulations take a back seat, a second seat to this policy. then I think that has to be in the policy itself.
So what are you really proposing though? Because it's,
I just said what I'm proposing.
so,
Add a couple sentences into this policy, saying that this policy supersedes the rules and regulations. The members will suffer no adverse consequences for ignoring the rules and regulations and instead following this policy, and the same for the chiefs.
what does the rules and regulations state regarding pets in vehicles and in the facilities?
Nothing, but it provides that all members, when they hear the tone and they're available, they are obligated to respond to the firehouse. They are obligated, under the terms of our rules, to actually respond to fire alarms. Now, our number 3 responder last year happens to be a fellow who owns a dog. He responds often because he's out walking his dog. He's in Whippoorwill or he's down the street. He hears the alarm. He works in town. He hears the alarm goes off. He gets here. He locks his dog in the radio room. He gets on a truck.
Well, that's a valid point.
He's not going to be able to do that anymore, but I don't want him punished because he's not responding to daytime alarms, because we have such a shortage of people responding to daytime alarms. I don't want him to suffer any adverse consequences either from this board or from the chief staff or from the officer who sees him out walking the dog, maybe down this sidewalk, the horns go off, and he just sort of waves at the trucks as they're driving away.
This is a good point.
May I?
No, just give us a sec.
Yeah, I have no problem, but I've seen him, and he's always usually got his car here.
Well, he's not locking the dog in the car in July so he can get on a truck. That would be, you get arrested for that.
You can put the window down.
No, that's not what we do. I don't want him to get in trouble for ignoring the rules and regulations in favor of this policy. That was the board's decision. The board needs to protect the firefighters as well.
I don't disagree.
I agree. I mean, I didn't read the rules and regs, but it sounds like Chris has, and that sounds really proper.
All right, so we will table this issue, and we'll discuss it throughout
I'd like to hear what the chief has to
the
say.
month.
I'd like to
Is
hear-
that,
Can we hear
Pardon me?
can we hear from the chief?
well, not until we're done our business on it.
Are we done?
So,
Well, you said we're going to table it, but I'd like to.
no, what I would like to do with respect to the agenda is, clearly, we need to continue talking about this.
Well, yeah, you gotta add this,
Yeah.
as Chris said, you gotta add it, so. It's not there right now, I'd wait until it got all added.
So we'll go ahead and add that, yet at the same time, I think it warrants more discussion and understanding. That's in my view. Chief, what do you got?
I'd like to ask you to consider to amend it. Very much in favor or understand agreement with Commissioner Weddle's point, but I think also I would like to raise it as such. I completely agree with no animals in department vehicles. Completely 100% behind that, support it to the nth degree. I would like you to consider removing the clause about within facilities and leave it as such to give the chief the latitude. If a pet owner happens to have their animal here, to Chris's point, they're responding to a call, and that animal is not well behaved, or that animal causes some type of an issue within our operational structure, the chief uses their discretion to, I don't want to say punish, that's not the right word, but to address the situation. Tell the pet owner to take the animal home, they can't come back, whatever it might be. But instead of painting a blanket policy right now for addressing maybe one particular instant that had, an adverse effect on, a guest or a member in the firehouse, take this as a learning opportunity and give us a chance to let our members behave like adults, control their animal, make sure that there's no issue. Sunday mornings, when we were doing the bagel breakfast, a lot of members would bring their pet out on the ramp. It was kind of a huge thing. It attracted people to visit. But I think the bigger issue is I do run the risk of losing 2 or 3 responders who hear the horn and they're right here. They're walking up King Street. They run back to the firehouse and they're able to respond.
I don't disagree. I'd like all these things to be considered throughout the month, and then we'll put it back on the agenda. Sound good? And we'll circle back with everyone during the month to make sure that this gets revised. Good with that, Chris?
Sure.
Perfect, thank you. All right. Good discussion, thank you. New business. I was approached by a highly respected former commissioner recently, and out of that discussion with the former commissioner, I thought it'd be a good idea if the board established a former commissioner's ad hoc committee for the sake of providing historical context, assistance in various ways other than the normal business of the board. And I just want to have a brief conversation on this. I think there's some great value in that.
I do too. I think a lot of these commissioners, ex-commissioners, former commissioners have an amazing brain trust that we can tap into. I think it's a great idea to have them as our aides. Sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah, certainly not to meddle in the business of the board, but to, again, assist only in a way that a former commissioner may. And that is just by providing, hey, you know, we tried this, or we did that, or don't forget this. I think it could be very, very helpful.
We
And
can also ask them questions, and how was it done then? What's your recommendation now?
Agreed. I think it's a
I
prudent
do too.
thing.
Do you need a motion?
If you would like to, but I'd like to have this discussion first, Chris.
I think if it's gonna be like the former President's Club where everybody has access to that little house in DC, I think that's a mistake. If you're being selective about who you're going to invite to join this, then maybe it's not a mistake. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can think of 8 former commissioners that are still alive that I can think of. I can think of 2 of them. I would, not only would I not listen to them, I would not discuss anything with them.
So, and that's a fair observation. And if it's an ad hoc committee, we can draw up the precept, what we would like them to do and consider, and we can select who we want. It's an ad hoc committee. They have no power, no authority, but the precept and the reason for having such a ad hoc committee is it's legitimate.
You don't need power, you don't need authority to create dissension. All you need is a megaphone.
So that's entirely what we're not trying to do here. So I had a great conversation with a former commissioner, and that conversation led to me and others believing that establishing a former commissioner's ad hoc committee with a precept could be a good thing. And I take your point, Chris, by the way. Having said that,
I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Tim.
no, I don't actually.
I'll tell you later.
I think it furthers conversation.
Say again?
It furthers more conversation.
I agree. So, Chris did opine on it. I think it's a good thing. If you want to turn it into a motion,
I'd like to make a motion that we mull it over and next month come back with a plan, if that's appropriate.
well then, can I help you modify that?
Please do.
So why don't we come up with a precept and a very, very short, sweet, to the point mission statement, and we'll continue the conversation. I think there's great value in it.
I mean, other than what I see here, I don't know what the precept is, so I thought
Correct.
another month of
Yeah.
allowing us to congeal this a little bit.
So we don't need a motion. Yeah, well, let's just come up with the mission and a precept.
Okay.
But I would like to honor the conversation I had with this highly respected former fire commissioner.
Good.
Okay. Excellent, thank you.
I'm sorry, highly respected by whom? That's where I'm getting stuck. I'm getting on highly
Me.
respected.
By me.
Oh, highly respected by you, okay.
And I would just like to remind the board, it would be wholly inappropriate to talk about any resident of the fire district or any former commissioner by name. Unless it had something to do with business at hand. Okay, so did all the board members here receive the proposal that was submitted by Thompson Bender?
Yes.
Did everyone have an opportunity to review it?
I would do it, yes.
It's only my view, but I believe we should move forward with Thompson Bender, a highly respected public relations and communications firm here in Westchester County. They have great experience working with fire districts and other government entities. They're located just a few miles away from here, Briarcliff Manor, correct? I did have an opportunity to visit their facility and meet with some of their staff. So I am in favor of moving forward with their proposal. And what they did propose is it would be $6,000 a month between now and December, or whenever we go forward with the referendum. Any discussion on that?
I'd like to make a motion. Is it appropriate? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the proposal from Thompson and Bender LLC at a cost of $6,000 per month through December 31, 2022, or the month of referendum.
Do we have a second on that?
I have a question.
Yes. Discussion.
After what's just happened, you know, we already went through this with one company. I'm just afraid of working with somebody else that's gonna just maybe stiff us. I just don't. I did $6,000 a month is a lot of money, and they don't do nothing. I mean, that's the part that bothers me.
Well, that's, well,
I just,
who's going to do the work?
I'm not saying who's gonna do it. What I'm saying to you is I just can't, I can go for it, but I mean, I just want some kind of guarantee that every month they're gonna do something and they're gonna come back and show us the progress. They're not gonna just go on and on and on and keep telling us, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing this, and we're doing this. And we did a whole bunch of stuff last time. We took pictures, we did everything. It never developed into anything. That's why I'm, you know, getting to it with another company and spending $6,000 and get the same thing. It's just-
I share your concern, yet I have great faith and confidence in this contractor. I share your concern. In fact, it was you and I who, yes, I don't want to say any more than that regarding the previous contractor.
Are we're gonna meet him, right, before he does anything?
Absolutely, we should. In fact, that's another item that I would like to discuss here quickly tonight. And I did ask the entire board to give their opinion regarding inviting the vendor in as well.
That makes total sense.
And we can set expectations with the contractor, et cetera. But I think that their proposal stands on its own.
I'll second.
Okay, so we had a motion by Dwight, seconded by Brian. I'll call for a vote now. All in favor of the motion that was stated to accept the proposal from Thompson Bender LLC at a cost of $6,000 per month through December 31st, 2022, or the month of the referendum. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
So that was 3, 4, and 1 against. Care to share why you're not supporting balance of the board?
I think it's the wrong decision.
Okay, fair enough. Who would do the work?
I think it's the wrong decision.
You don't want to expand on it?
No.
All right, so that's settled. 3, 4, 1 against. All right, having said that, did we talk about the computer tablet for the chief's vehicle?
No, that's something.
Yeah, but let's talk about that quickly.
Return for Chief Lyon?
Yeah.
Or we approved that last month?
No, the tablet came up in between meetings. It was basically, we want to order it sooner than later so Greg can start configuring and actually
Right.
start to use it in the current vehicle because it's going to be quite a while before
But we had
the
agreed
new
to.
one's ready.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We would agree to a tablet rather than the hard book, whatever they have.
Oh, okay, I might,
Oh,
because
okay.
again, I had left for cleanup,
One
so.
for Greg's car.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're looking for 2 more.
No,
just one, just great.
just one. Yeah, my paperweight's fine.
Oh, I thought you might want to replace. Okay.
No, I'm not him, I mean.
So basically, I understand that we approved it, we've directed you to talk to Manny.
And Manny actually deferred, and there was an email from Robin to the board recently, because Manny had said go to Verizon and purchase one, and then Robin was trying to ascertain who was the authorized person to go to Verizon to purchase it, because none of us, I'm assuming, including yourselves, are on any type of Verizon account with authorization of purchase on behalf of the district.
So what are you gonna do? Or
It's
what are we
in-
gonna do?
Can we just go to Verizon and ask them who's the
I have-
authorized person? Or you
This
want us to
is-
do it?
It's,
Okay.
so this is
Okay.
on,
Sure, we'll do it. Yep. We'll go ask and see who's an authorized account holder here. Okay.
you know, just keep in mind, the account is in the name of Newcastle Fire
Yeah.
District. I have no rights to speak to that account.
But we should have somebody that's a point of contact, that's all.
Oh, no, completely agree.
Sure.
And it should be
So-
probably the
so-
commissioner in charge of technology.
Well, he's not here tonight, so we'll work on it. I'm on communications, he's on technology, so we'll work together.
All right, so the last thing on the agenda for this evening is I would like to schedule a work session regarding project costs and schedules. Now that we're going to be moving forward with Thompson Bender as our PR and communications consultant, and less public relations, more communications, because we know what the message needs to be here. We need to build the new building now. We need it yesterday. It's not a want, it's a requirement. And I am absolutely confident that we can take what we learned last year with Wise Oak Strategies and couple it now with a highly respected and reputable communications firm. We can get the message out, not asking for a yes or a no vote, but showing compelling reasons why we need to build this new firehouse with subsequent renovation to the 1954-1979 building. So having said that, I would like to schedule a work session with the board and with our site engineer, JMC, our architect, and try to figure out exactly what our price point is going to be in terms of where we want to cap, how much we want to include in the new building, and then also have a discussion regarding the strategy to renovate the 1954-1979 buildings. Having said that, any discussion on scheduling a work session?
Is at one evening or a weekend?
Yeah, I would say like 6:30 to 7:30, and we can get everything on the agenda we need to talk about. Hopefully, we can come to consensus on what we want to do moving forward. But now's the time. As Commissioner Murphy said last month, we needed it yesterday.
When do you want to meet?
Get a date,
Yeah,
Right.
Do we have a potential date?
going after the 4th of July, or?
It's entirely up to the board. I'm not going to make the recommendation. I'm not going to make the motion.
July 7th?
I'm out of town the week of the 4th, I'm out of town the 8th, 19th, and 20th, I'm out of town the first week of August.
So,
You said the 7th?
Commissioner Weddle is out of town that week, and also the other week that I will be out of town as well.
do we want to do it sooner?
No, but I don't, the only thing that's of interest, are you gonna redesign things again?
I don't do design. That's the architect.
Right, the architect is only as good as the data that you give the architect, so, when we were talking last month, we were looking at the 2020 design. Is that what you're staying with? Because you're staying with the 2020 design, I don't need to weigh in on it, all I need is the numbers.
Basically, that's all we all need, it's just the numbers. I mean, we're not changing anything.
So if we're gonna get the architect involved for pricing, numbers, et cetera, why don't we see what his schedule allows, and then we'll work around that.
Right, but if he's working on the design that he created in 2020, he doesn't need to be here for that, he can
He's
just
gotta
price it.
update it and see if.
But we don't have to pay him to drive down here and.
No, no, no.
No, we can zoom him in.
Sure. Whatever days.
We can zoom JMC in. Again, the purpose of this work session would be, number one, the public can see us doing our work and making the tough decisions.
We already did that with JMC. JMC's work is all exterior. Their work is done.
Yeah, largely, in fact, JMC's work is,
Well, they just did the
Yeah.
sidewalk plat, we just discussed that, but everything else, the final design was with the town and with the state, right? It's out of our hands, I thought.
Yeah, I thought everything was there already.
Yeah.
so again, I think the purpose of this work session would be for the board to decide where they're going to cap and a strategy for moving forward on the 1954, 1979 building.
But I thought we weren't touching the 1954, 1979.
See, this is-
The whole idea of the 2020 plan that we talked about last month, is it didn't touch that. It takes about $5 million off the cost. I thought that was the whole, I thought that was your
Yeah,
whole
that was
point.
the whole purpose, we weren't touching these buildings. What I meant was just build the addition, we need the addition. We can't keep going on and on about the addition and re-renovating this building. Because like Chris just said, you're gonna knock $5,000 off if you don't touch these two buildings. Or $5 million, sorry. And that's a lot of money, I mean, we're up to 18 million right now, so you knock off that brings you down to 13. I think that's a lot easier to get past. And
I don't disagree. So what date would the board like to have a work session where we can develop a real strong agenda for the meeting and make sure that the board addresses all the issues at hand regarding the project moving
what
forward?
did you say you're gonna be away, Chris?
The week of the 4th, the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and the first week of August, the first Saturday to Saturday of August.
How about the 28th?
What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
The 28th of
June?
June?
I won't be here, but that doesn't matter for you guys. I'm away that week.
We could ask Robin to sit in for you maybe.
Tuesday, the 28th.
I'm almost always good on Tuesdays.
I don't object to that. It's entirely up to the board. If the 28th is good,
Just know I would need to leave equipment because I have the town board meetings that night.
yes, we could probably do that via Owl, correct?
Yep.
Some
Thank
will-
you.
That will not be me.
What's
We'll
that-
be
what's
doing
that?
that though.
What time?
Oh, interesting. What time would we want to start? 6:30?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
And we would invite JMC, Lynn, Wynick, Mike, our attorney,
Yeah.
Why?
the,
Why are we
Wait,
inviting all
Bob
these?
Why are we
Mitchell.
inviting an
Why
attorney?
are we inviting all these people? If the idea is to set a price point, and, I mean, it feels like we're having a meeting for the sake of having a meeting. I mean, we just want to set a price point, right? At what threshold are we unwilling to submit this to the public? Is there anything else that we need to do?
Well, I think there's great value in having a work session and you're talking about the project moving forward where the public can see where we're at this point in time. I think there's great value in that.
Okay, and there's great cost too. We pay these people. I don't know what the lawyer is gonna do
Yeah, I don't see
for
it.
us. I don't know what the engineer is gonna do for us. I get the architect, that makes sense.
I think the engineer could probably give us an update based regarding the site plan approval process, where we stand. He can talk about the New York State Department of Transportation sidewalk issue and any other permitting issues we may be having. Certainly, having Lynn Wynick involved is prudent, as she is our legal counsel on this issue. But if there's an objection from the board to involve those,
No, not an objection. I just think it's an expense that's unnecessary.
I would disagree with that wholeheartedly, particularly if we're gonna have a work session for the benefit of the residents of the fire district, so they know exactly where the project stands. So, did we settle on June 28th at 6:30? And I'll work with Christine, our secretary, to get the agenda, make sure everyone's invited. I think it's important that we do that. And I would just remind the board, what we want to do is find that cap, find the restrictions, and then we can move forward. I don't disagree with what we need to do on this. My primary job is just getting it on the agenda and facilitating the meeting.
Plenty of votes for me.
Good.
Nobody show up. No public comment?
No one in the waiting room?
Nope.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
You have one thing on the last page, I think.
14.
Oh, what did I have? Excuse me.
Future dates.
Oh. Thank you very much. Okay, future dates. The next regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 21st, 2022 at 7 p.m., preceded by a work session at 6:30. Email any concerns to the board for consideration at, I'll spell it phonetically, Bravo Oscar Foxtrot Charlie at November Charlie Foxtrot Delta 1.org. In addition to that, we just scheduled a work session for June 28th at 6:30. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.